Okay, let's dive right in. We hear about big banks and federal regulations all the time, right? But what's the one document, the foundational piece of paper, that underpins the whole system? Well, today we're talking about the National Bank Charter, the very backbone of American banking.
And I want to be super clear from the get-go. We are not talking about some simple permit you just hang on a wall. No way. This is something way more fundamental to how money and power actually work in the United States.
So at its core, a national bank charter is a federal document that brings a new bank into existence. But it's more than that. As we're going to see, it creates a whole new kind of federal power, one that projects Washington's authority right into the financial heart of the nation.
To really understand that power, you've got to go back to its origin story. And this wasn't an idea cooked up in some quiet boardroom. Nope, it was forged in the fire of the Civil War. It was a strategic necessity.
The year is 1863. The country is literally being torn apart. And right in the middle of all that chaos, the National Bank Act is signed into law. It had two massive jobs to do. First, finance the Union war effort, and second, create a stable, uniform national currency that everyone could trust.
And this is the result, and it's brilliant. The act didn't just authorize a new type of financial institution, the national bank. It established a whole new layer of direct federal oversight, creating for the very first time a truly unified banking system.
Okay, so let's pop the hood and see what's actually inside this foundational document. What does getting one of these charters really mean for a bank?
What are the specific powers and privileges that this charter gives an institution? I mean, this question gets to the absolute heart of our entire financial regulatory structure.
All right, this is where you see the charter's immense value. Federal preemption? That means a national bank plays by one set of federal rules, and it doesn't have to worry about 50 different, conflicting state laws. It gets exclusive supervision from one federal agency, the OCC, one boss. It gets access to the Federal Reserve System, the big leagues, and of course, eligibility for FDIC deposit insurance, the thing that keeps your money safe. It's a whole package deal of federal integration.
So, the crucial point here is that this charter does way more than just give a bank permission to open its doors. It stamps it with a federal identity. It creates this direct, binding relationship between that bank and the U.S. government.
I love this quote because it just nails the bigger picture. The charter isn't just a rule book, it's a tool. It's a policy lever the government can use to influence the economy. It's a regulatory signal that tells the market, hey, this institution is held to the highest standard. And maybe most important of all, it's a symbol of trust in the stability of the entire system.
But here's the thing, when you concentrate that much power into one document, it's never going to have a quiet history. It has been at the center of debate constantly, acting as both a source of stability and a major point of conflict.
And you can see this tension play out all across modern history. In the 1980s, the charter was central to the big push for deregulation. In 2008, after the financial crisis, it was right at the heart of the whole too-big-to-fail debate. And today, it's being re-examined all over again as fintech challenges the very definition of what a bank even is.
And this really distills that dual nature, doesn't it? On one hand, it's the anchor. It provides that single, trusted, federally backed standard that brings security to the whole system. But on the other hand, because its power is so significant, it becomes a flashpoint, the battlefield for every major debate about the role and the reach of the banking industry in America.
So, this brings us right to this moment and the critical questions facing the charter today. The landscape is shifting under our feet, and it's forcing us to redefine what national even means in an age of digital finance.
Now, don't get me wrong, for federally regulated institutions, the National Bank Charter is still the gold standard. It signifies the absolute highest level of regulatory scrutiny and integration into the federal financial system. But that system is changing fast. And so we end on this thought. When a bank doesn't have physical branches, when its customers are literally everywhere, and its operations are based in the cloud, what does a national charter truly represent? It's a question that's going to define the next chapter in the long and pretty wild history of American banking.